Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at Anvil Campground, which is the closest campground to Williamsburg, Virginia. It's going to be a pretty complete and comprehensive tour. What you're seeing right now is me driving around the campground and taking a look at what some of the campsite looks like. Here are two campsites that are unoccupied, and that's what it looks like without any vehicles in there. I'm going to spin around now, and we're going to be driving back the other way through the other end of the campground to show you what that looks like. Now, one thing that you should keep in mind is that this is a very long campsite. It's not open, it's not huge. There are not a lot of vehicles that are allowed to be in here. So I think for each campsite, you're allowed one vehicle. So if you are coming with friends and family, you definitely need to keep that in mind and try to work out parking before you actually get here. Now, what I'm showing you right now is that it is a small campsite. Again, not a lot of people and not a lot of campers are allowed over here, but it is very quaint. The service is exceptional, and I really enjoyed staying here. The people here are wonderful, and they all seem to love being here. This is a dog park, and dogs are welcome at this campsite. One of the things that stood out to me was the areas that people could gather, either as a family or kids could gather and play. And for a campsite of this size, there are a remarkable number of locations that are set aside for people just to get together and have fun. Here you're looking at a play area for some of the smaller kids, and it's pretty large considering the size of the campsite and the campground. One of the things that really stood out to me that set this campground apart is the sense of family and community. It seems like the people here all knew each other, and even though they just met, and they all liked each other, and there was a closeness where some of the larger campsites you don't seem to find that. And yes, that's a basketball court and basketball hoop that is severely bent. But for the most part, it is a well-manicured, well-taken care of campsite. There are a variety of locations to rent. Not only can you bring your camper, you can also tent camp, but you can, in addition to that, you can rent cabins, and we'll go over that in just a little bit. I've only been here one time, and I was very surprised that for a campsite that is so small that it had its own pool. Not only does it have a pool, but it's a heated pool, and it's great because it's open well into the fall and winter. Now, when I go camping, my family loves to camp, but oftentimes we'll go with families that don't like to camp, or we'll go with grandparents who just can't really manage that lifestyle anymore. And this is a great alternative because you can rent one of these cabins right here. It's a premium cabin, and it sleeps up to 4 people, but it is a great alternative to bring the family together for those who like to camp and those who don't. In a moment, we're going to take a look at the bathrooms, but before we go there, just want to point out that it does have a full hookup here, so electricity, water, and it has a sewage drain. So that's wonderful, so you don't have to store anything in your trailer. The bathrooms were exceptionally clean. I'm not sure how often they clean it, but I never went in there a day that it wasn't sparkling clean. And there are 2 showers per bathroom. They give you these individual stalls. It looks like they just redid it because everything here looks like it's brand new, and it's well built, well done. They did an exceptional job with this bathroom. Every campsite I've ever been to has a general store, and this is what the general store for this campsite looks like, where they charge you an arm and a leg for a toothpaste. One of the things I do love about this campsite was this water wheel right here. It's very relaxing. At the end of the day, after being at Williamsburg or Busch Gardens, we sat here, we regrouped, and it was very relaxing because you could hear the water. It's very tranquil. This is a really nice touch. For the majority of this video, I've said really good things about the campsite, but there is one massive drawback. Remember I said it was a long campsite, and that's because it runs parallel to a road and right parallel to a railroad track. That railroad track is not dormant. Rail cars pass there on a pretty, I would say, frequent basis. So if you are at a campsite next to that, that could be a major problem. As we're circling the campsite right now, you can see that there are campsites in the middle that is separate from the railroad, and there's also campsites that are next to the roadway. Depending on where you get a campsite, that could be a major problem. In fact, this is the only complaint I have about this campsite, is that railroad track. Some people that I spoke to, it kind of bothered them a little bit, but for the most part, no one seemed to mind, which was shocking to me. I thought that would be a big turnoff, but apparently people are either used to it or it's just not a problem. For me, it was personally not a problem. My wife, it was a problem the first night, but after that, not a problem at all. And as you can see at this shot, as we're leaving the campsite, this is the reverse view. It is right there smack next to the roadway. So even if you're one of those campsites that are away from the railroad tracks, you may have to put up with traffic noise. Other than that, the people there were fantastic. It was a great stay. I would highly recommend this campsite.